I'm kind of loving this week because I don't know. I enjoy that I get to talk a little crap on Juan Soto, who is my rotten egg. Signed a mega deal with the Mets this offseason, leaving the Yankees. Yankees fans aren't too happy about that. He played there this past weekend, actually, which is why he's my rotten egg. He didn't have too good of a series, especially in the final game in a 2-2 game. He hit a ground ball up the middle, and it was the second baseman got there, but it's pretty deep. But he throws out Juan Soto at first because Juan Soto does not hustle out of the box. We're getting some rumors, reports, nothing official, nothing super substantial, that like he doesn't like it in New York. He wish he stayed in the Yankees. Someone's like, the only time I saw him smile all weekend was when he was saying hi to Jazz Chisholm, who's a Yankees player. He's hitting 243 with an OPS of 803, which is above average, but for him is way down. Tonight, actually, in his first two at bats, he took five pitches. He took 7 pitches and didn't swing at any of them, and struck out looking twice or something like that.
I think he just set the record for. He took 15 straight pitches, I believe, is a tweet I saw, which is a new MLB record.
So just clearly out of sorts. Now he's a phenomenal player. He'll get it sorted out, I'm sure, and rake for them for years against the Braves as well, which doesn't make me happy. So I'm just going to, while he's down, take the time to revel in it because I know it's probably going to be short-lived. And once he settles in there, he'll get going. And he'll end up... And the Mets fans that are kind of discontent with him right now will fall back in love with him and all will be well. But it's not necessarily been the best week for Juan Soto.
So maybe this is not a hot take. This is not a take. This is a question. Soto was great on the Nationals with won a World Series, right?
Yeah.
Was great on the Nationals. Went to the Padres and was not good. Went to the Yankees.
How long was he on the Padres for?
A year and a half.
Was it a year and a half?
Yeah.
Year and a half.
Was he? Did you say he was not good
trade
or just
deadline,
not great?
Year.
What did you say, JP?
Trade deadline and then another year.
Yeah. So
that's what I thought.
He just never lived up to the expectations. I feel like he didn't have the same swagger. He came in and everyone's like, oh, the Soto shuffle, this, that, great player, young, can't wait to see what happens. And it just kind of
crazy. He's
wasn't
26. That's just insane. But continue.
Went to the Yankees and then went to the World Series, was good, and then now he's at the Mets and is struggling again. Is it possible that he's not great? That he's just good and then plays great on good teams?
So I'd push back a little bit on that because in 2023 for the Padres, he had a 930 OPS.
Okay.
Which is pretty elite. Okay. And he had a 989 last year. He was not good with the Padres that first half after making the trade, which, they probably would have liked him to be better there because they were trying to make a push for something.
Yeah.
Pretty great. 2020 season is incredible. 1.185 OPS is insane. He led the league in so many categories that year.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for him is he's an elite hitter. He's a terrible fielder.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's rating out as like the worst left fielder in baseball right now. So my guess is some point sooner rather than later he's going to transition to being a DH. And so the contract he's on is a little steep for someone that may just end up being a DH for over half that contract.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
It's because, he has been, in my opinion, he's been just extremely productive.
Yes.
As a hitter. And with the hype, you also have to think about it from a business perspective, too. He's going to put butts in the seats.
100%.
Mets games are always going to be packed. We're not going to go to Yankees games instead of Mets games because they have Judge. Well, we have Soto, and we have some talented guys in Lindor. But yeah, I thought he earned every part of that contract, and there was no way he wasn't going to get paid that contract. But yeah, because of his fielding issues, yeah, steep for a DH. But ultimately, for the Mets, because they had the money,
they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care, and it wasn't necessarily they had a choice.
Yeah, since there's no true salary cap in the MLB, it just doesn't matter. And when Cohen, the owner of the Mets, who's I think he's valued at $14.2 billion. I mean, he said it in the early days of getting the Mets. He was like, "I didn't buy this team to make money. This is basically like for fun."
Yeah.
So like, he doesn't really care if maybe the contract is a little steep for a DH. He just got one of the best hitters in baseball.
Yeah.
And he also stole him from the Yankees, and that makes it all that much better.
True.
Yep, and like they were in the NLCS last year, so
No, for
it's
sure.
not like they are coming off a bad year and then you add Soto and it's continued to go bad.
Yeah,
They
I do
were
want to
really good last year.
backpedal to your point about him being a little disappointing on the Padres, Sanders. I could see a world where he came across as disappointing. I feel like I even thought that at times, and I think that's just because of how great of a hitter he was, that he almost at times wasn't hitting at that insanely high level, which is like a little unfair to him, but it makes sense when it's like when someone's that good and they take a little bit of a step back for a stretch, it's like, man, they're not doing as good. You know, like when Acuna wins the MVP and then he comes back and his OPS is in the high 800s, low 900s. It's like, man, this is like kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
You know?
And as a lifelong Padres fan for the last 3 years, I can kind of give you some. I think another part of it was he came in and we kind of went all in for that. We went to the division series, I believe, and lost. We played the Dodgers. Can't remember if we won or lost, but it's what I think we won. Or we beat them in the wild card maybe, and that's why I got the Tatis jersey. And so we had Tatis, we had Machado, we had Blake Snell, Musgrove as pitchers, and we brought in Soto to go on top of that. And so it's like, okay, like this team might actually have a chance. And then I feel like we underperformed relative to what we did in the postseason the year before. So I think that's another reason that there's kind of like he was supposed to be the capstone.
Missing piece. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that makes perfect sense.
He was supposed to be the missing piece, and then we like played worse. It felt like. So I think that's another reason I kind of like, is Soto that good? Because I never saw it. But clearly he is. I mean, the stats do not lie, and now the Mets are sitting there a game and a half behind the Phillies in the East. So,
I mean, I would love if he just decided to crash and burn and never be good for the Mets, but the odds of that are just very low.
Yeah.